First of all, I want to thank everybody for respectfully participating in this discussion. And let me start off by saying, we are not arguing. We are debating two phenomenal Hall of Fame athletes. Um, One made top 50 all time. One made the top 50 greatest. The other should have been on the top 50 greatest, but made the top 75. Nevertheless, and we discussing Dominique Wilkins and Scottie Pippen. Now, I went and did just a little research, and I found something interesting of note. Um, the majority of people on in the discussion, their reasoning for Scottie being a better player than Dominique is because Scottie was all around more efficient. He was probably a little more efficient on the offensive end because he didn't shoot as much as Nique. Scottie for a career averaged 16.6 points per game. Against the Hawks, he averaged 15.7. I don't know exactly what the average was squaring off against Dominique, but that was his average against the Hawks. Scottie was an excellent wing defender, but Dominique came to the Hawks in 1982. When Jordan arrived in 1984, up until Dominique was traded in 1994, the Hawks had a record of 28 and 22 versus the Bulls. That's what I saw. Yeah, 28 and 22 versus the Bulls. That's a total of 50 games. 50 games in 10 years. 22 of those wins and 10 of those losses was when Scottie came to the Bulls. Now, back to the 27 points per game. I don't know exactly how much of that was on Scottie, but I would venture to say that a great portion of that was on Scottie. Now the argument is when we're talking about one player versus another player, and all signs point to Nique was the better player. I mean, everybody's argument is Scottie's defense, but Scottie guarded the small forward position first. Dominique played the small forward position, and Dominique averaged 27 points per game against the Bulls. In 60, I think he played like 60 something games versus the Bulls. 50 of them was with Michael Jordan, and about 50 of them was with Michael Jordan on the Bulls, and 32 of them. 32 of them was with Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. He went 22 and 10. They went 22 and 10. A good portion of those wins were during, like I think they swept the Bulls. I want to say the Hawks swept the Bulls in the regular season, and two of the first in that first repeat, the Hawks swept the Bulls in the regular season in two of those 3 years. We all know what happened at the end. The Bulls kicked it into gear, and they won it all, and the Hawks' ass got bounced from the playoffs. They kept getting bounced from the playoffs. Now, if you want to call it a choke job by the Hawks, okay, that's fine. But that's another discussion. But looking at a player versus player, I mean, men lie, Women lie, but numbers don't lie. The numbers says Dominique was the better player. I'm sorry. Scottie Pippen, again, I will give him his props. He was a better than average a defender. I think he was. I think he was a little overrated. Um, and Michael Jordan made Scottie Pippen look way better than he actually was. All you gotta do is look at the tape. You ain't gotta listen to me. Just look at the tape. Michael Jordan is arguably, I must say, arguably the greatest athlete to ever play any sport, much less the sport of basketball. But he is arguably the greatest basketball player of all time. Now, I would venture to say, playing alongside the greatest basketball player of all time, you should have a little freedom of movement. Even with that freedom of movement, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I went to a lot of the early games with the Hawks and the Bulls between 88 and I'm gonna say between 88 and 90 when I left to go into the military, and Nique was destroying the Bulls, and the majority of the time Scottie Pippen was guarding him. When Nique retired from the game of basketball, he retired number 7 or 8 all time in scoring. I think he's like 12 or 13 now. I know he's been passed by LeBron, Kobe, Dirk, and Carmelo, and I think one other person. So, you know the narrative that Scottie is a better player than Nique because he played better defense is almost saying Draymond Green Draymond Green was a better power forward than Karl Malone. Because Draymond Green, that's a bad example because Karl Malone actually played good defense. Draymond Green's a better power forward than Dirk Nowitzki, and I think we all know that's not even remotely the case. So you can't use that. You can't use that narrative. And just like in Scottie Pippen's case, Draymond Green is playing with Clay. Draymond Green he wasn't even robbing on that. He's not even robbing on that team. He's Aquaman or one of the Wonder Twins. But this is no slight towards Scottie. This is no slight towards Scottie. I think he's a little overrated, and I think he got a lot of flowers by playing alongside Michael Jordan. So it's a matter of opinion. The only thing to me what Scottie got over Nique, other than the 6 championships, of course, and I would venture to say, it's. I mean, it's a no-brainer if Mike got Dominique over there, he wins those same 6 titles, and it ain't even close. And they probably run off 8 straight. They probably run off 8 straight if Jordan don't get suspended. They say he retired, but I think we all know a little different. But hey, like I said, it's a matter of opinion. Nobody's right. Nobody's wrong. Some of us think our word is law. My opinion, I think Dominique Wilkins was a better player. I mean, and I gave numbers to prove my stance. You know, a lot of folks like to argue facts with opinions. You can't look, boys and girls, brothers and sisters. You can't argue facts with an opinion. Okay, that's just something that you can't do. All right, I'm sorry. I get it. I understand. But hey, that's just that's the reality of it. I do facts, not feelings. Okay? Again, thank you all so much for your participation on this. Hey, look here, man. I'm your man, OG. Truth hurts. Hey, and on the King's Ransom, we always seek and speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I'm out.